This is what happens when a nigga tells you that he got the alarm system all figured out, right? Yeah. I'm back here trying to, man, ain't this a bitch? Yeah, bitch. Can't believe this shit. Oh, man.
We had this one crackhead that we used to hang out with, and his father was a jeweler from downtown, the St. Vincent's district, big area for jewelry and stuff downtown LA. And his father was trying to get him to be a jeweler, but he wasn't no jeweler. He was a drug addict. That's the only thing he was good at. He was good at doing drugs. He wasn't doing no jewelry. So one time, he would give us, keys that we could copy, or give us. I used to have a key making machine in my house, in the garage, and that's a whole nother story. A whole bunch of shit we got into with that. Anyway, so he gives us the codes, and we go, and we've been doing this like every 6 months, going in there, and we would just swap the Rolexes out. Because his deal was his father would take a Rolex in as like a fixed thing, watch jeweler kind of crap, change the battery, do it this, that, or whatever the fuck he was doing with him. And then when he would give you the Rolex back, he'd give you what's called a 90%, a 90. And it basically was 90%. It looked like a Rolex, but only a true jeweler would be able to get there with the little thing and find out what it was. Anyway, he'd give us a wrong code one time. I think he was just cracked out and gave us the wrong code. I don't think he did it on purpose, although there were people in my crew who wanted to kill him for this. It was a big deal. So we were filming Jackin' 101, and we were going to show how to rip off a jeweler. And long story short, we go in there, we see the Rolexes, and I'm flipping the Rolexes off on the camera, saying, we about to take all your fucking shit. And that's what the thing was. And we was happy as a motherfucker. We scooped the Rolexes up. They real Rolexes, and then somebody had gotten too comfortable with it. And then they started saying, hey, what we're going to do is, since he's got these 90%, we're going to take them too. And when you're dealing with people sometimes, and when you're in the game and you doing, illegal shit, don't associate with stupid people. Because we went over to where Rolexes were, the real ones, scooped them, put them in the bag. Then I hand the bag off to the dude I'm working with. And he goes over and he starts grabbing the 90% and throwing them in the same bag. Now we got real Rolexes mixed in with 90%. We niggas. We don't know nothing different about no damn Rolexes and shit. So we had this van, and we have been stealing all day. I mean, it's kind of like we set a certain day. Thursdays was kind of our stealing day. We go out and go steal shit. So the van was already packed high with shit, And the van in the downtown district back then didn't stick out. People expect to see a van like that. So what was cool about the van is back then, cordless tools weren't a big deal back then. They weren't very good. So we had this Sawzall that we could plug in, and each one of the buildings had power. So what we had done is we went into the first jeweler, and normally we just take the Rolexes and we swap them for 90%. But this time we had gotten greedy because the last time we came, we couldn't get in because the motherfucking alarm. So we taking everything. So as we went ahead and Sawzall the safe out, somebody, one of the dudes mentions, hey, there's a jeweler next door too. And you got to realize that these buildings are just made out of just bullshit. So we took the Sawzall to the wall and we went next door to the next jeweler. And we saw, man, by the end of the thing, we were all the way down the block because we had just Sawzalled from one to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. Because we figured out if we didn't come in through the door and we're in where they got the safe at, there's no motion sensors in there. So we ended up taking like 4 or 5 safes home. And we eventually got them open, but that's how I ended up with all the Rolexes. And people used to laugh. They was like, what, nigga, we got all these safes in the backyard here. Why in the backyard? You ain't in there using them. They didn't realize we had stole them out of the places in downtown. And, we just got the cash that was in them. That was the main thing. They had all these little contracts and bullshit like that. But we just took it just for getting the shit out of it. That's what it was. That's how we did it. Like a nigga say, dudes, Jones, Jigga Boo. What? It's fun we used to have. You can't do it today. Or you could, but there's better ways to make money, y'all.
Don't go. Jigga Jones is my nigga.